I saw him with my own eyes, worshipping at an altar that wasn't for our God. This is the story of King Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, but even the wisest can lose their way. When Solomon was young, he loved God with all his heart. He built the grand temple in Jerusalem, a house for God that shone like the sun. People came from every land to see it. They also came to hear Solomon's wisdom, which was unmatched. But as Solomon grew older, he became greedy, not for gold or power, but for love. He married one woman, then another, and another. By the time he was an old man, he had married hundreds of women, and his concubines numbered even more. His first wife was Naamah, a princess from Ammon. She was beautiful, with hair like the night sky and a voice that could calm storms. Solomon loved her deeply, but marrying her came with a cost. She brought her gods with her, idols made of stone and wood. At first, Solomon ignored them. "I worship the Lord," he told himself. "These idols mean nothing to me." But over time, Naamah asked him to make a small altar for her gods. "Just for me," she said. "It won't interfere with your worship." Solomon agreed. It was just one altar. What harm could it do? But soon, there was another wife with another god, then another. Some came from Egypt, some from Sidon, some from Moab. Each brought their own idols, their own customs. Solomon, who loved them all, couldn't say no. His advisors warned him. "My king," they said, "you are leading the people astray. You are the shepherd of Israel, but the sheep are scattering." Solomon dismissed them. "I am the king. I will keep the Lord in my heart, no matter what altars stand in my house." But the altars grew. They were no longer small, hidden things. They were grand, towering structures, placed on the hills around Jerusalem. Soon, the people began to follow Solomon's example. They worshipped other gods, too: Baal, Ashtoreth, Molech. One day, I climbed the hill outside the city and saw Solomon himself standing at one of these altars. He held a bowl of incense, offering it to a god made of metal. His eyes looked tired, like the light in them had faded. "My king," I whispered to myself, "what have you done?" The Lord was angry with Solomon. A prophet came to him and said, "Because you have turned away, your kingdom will be torn apart. Your son will rule only a small piece of it." Solomon fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. He begged God for forgiveness, but the damage was done. The people no longer trusted their king to guide them in the ways of the Lord. When Solomon died, the kingdom split, just as the prophet had said. His son Rehoboam ruled over Judah, but the other tribes followed a different king. Israel was never the same again. And so, the wisest man became a warning. He loved many women, but in loving them, he forgot to love God above all. People still tell this story, not because they want to shame Solomon, but because they want to remember. Even the strongest can fall if their heart is divided.